to go. Funzo's asking to answer number 1. All right, let's see. What would the answer for number 1 look like? Remember we talked about multiplying top, top, and then multiplying bottom, bottom, because I don't use foil. Foil sounds a little, yeah, it's not the one. Okay, so what would the answer for number 1 look like? Tell me, Funzo.
So I used the foil method. So I said A times A and gave me A squared. And I said
That's it.
A times B and it gave me AB. And I said B times A and I wrote AB. Then I said plus B times B and it gave me B squared. Then I will
Good.
look
Okay.
the like terms.
Good. Now the
AB.
and AB. Good. Now I'm hoping you haven't forgotten, Funzo, that when you multiplied, let me erase my top and do it again. When you multiplied A times A, that was fine because they're both positive. But as soon as I go A times B, that's not actually A times B. That's A times negative B. So I need to make sure that I'm actually writing here that A times negative B will give me negative AB and not positive AB. I'm sure, have you done this, Masvidi? I hope you have.
Oh, I didn't see the minus.
It's very important we remember that the sign right in front of that variable or right in front of that number belongs to that number. Okay, so you need to make sure you're multiplying A times negative B, and that's going to give us negative. Now, when we go to A or B times A, this is positive and A is also positive. That means that I'm going to get a positive AB here. And then have a look here again, Funzo. I'm going to get positive B multiplied by negative B. What's that going to give me? It's going to give us a negative. It's going to give us negative B squared. Yeah. But I think you did it correctly. You just forgot your signs. And the signs are so important because this is what's going to happen next. I'm going to get negative AB plus AB. That's going to give me 0. They're going to cancel each other out. Cancel, cancel. And what I'll have left is A squared minus B squared. You see that? And this is like the reverse of dots. We're going to talk about difference of 2 squares today. Okay, well done, Funzo. Remember your signs. Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to go through that one with me. Okay. Onwabo, do you want to try number 2 with me? This one is quite easy, I think. Are we ready?
Man, no, I don't think so. I was gonna ask about number 1.
Yes. What is the question?
Sorry. When you multiply B by A,
yes.
Wouldn't it be BA instead of AB?
Yes, that's true. But then remember that AB and BA are the same thing. Okay, it's like if A was 2 and B was 3, I would have 2 times 3. And
yes,
this would just be 3 times 2. So it doesn't matter whether I write AB or BA first. Okay, we're multiplying. Okay. So the order in which you put the variables, not important. It just looks nicer and you know that they cancel because they look the same. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I now have to compel you to try number 2 for me.
Oh, man, I didn't even do it. Okay, but
okay, let's talk through it, you and I. Okay, let's have a look. I've got X. I'm going to top. That's what we're going to do first. So X times X squared. What's that?
That's going to be X cubed.
Excellent. And then I've got X times X.
And then it's going to be X squared.
Good. Positive X squared. You see how I'm multiplying a positive with a positive?
Positive X squared. And then it's going to be positive X.
Good. Positive X plus X. And then I'm going to get negative 1. So I'm going to do bottom. Negative 1 times X squared will give me?
Negative X squared.
That's it. And then what happens next?
Negative X.
1 times X. Good.
And it's going to be, well, don't they cancel each other out?
Not quite. Negative 1 times positive 1 will give me a negative 1 times 1. Negative 1. Okay. Good. See, and then now we can look at what cancels where. So I've got positive X squared minus X squared. These two will cancel and give us 0. What else cancels?
Positive X and negative X.
That's it. positive x and negative x. And what do I have left?
X cubed minus 1.
Oh, look at that. And here you were stressing 100%
No, man,
easy stuff.
I'm still
Well
in
done.
December mode. I haven't accepted that I'm going to school yet.
No. We've had 2 weeks. Oh, no, but we've had 2 weeks. We need to come back now.
Oh,
but you see,
Gone,
you
we
still
out of
got
holiday
it.
mode.
You've still got it. You've still got it. Well done. That was
Thank you, ma'am.
excellent. You did really well. Excellent. Timothy, Funzo, I see your hand is up. I'm going to ask Timothy to help me with the last one, if that's okay. But this one is a bit tricky. Timothy, are you with me?
Yes, I am, man.
Excellent. Do you want to help me with this one? I'm going to move my welcome grade 10s down a little bit. You want to help me out with this one? Now, this one is a bit tricky because I've got xy minus p squared q. All of that is squared. What does that tell me I need to do, Timothy?
May I please, like, can someone do it? Because, like, I don't understand it.
Okay. I'm going to explain it to you. I don't want you to go away because, like, I don't want you to shy away from things you don't understand. This is what we do at Watobe. I want to explain it to you. Now, if I asked you, if I had x times x, what would you tell me the answer was, Timothy?
X times X, the answer would be X. Positive.
X times x, that just gives me 2 x's, so x squared, x multiplied by itself twice. Okay.
Yes,
It's not a trick question, it's just an easy question. We've all seen it before. Okay, now if I have x times x, then that's x squared. I know that x squared is actually the same thing as x multiplied by itself 2 times. I'm multiplying x by itself twice. But now look at what I've done here. I've taken this whole bracket and I've squared it. So I'm multiplying this bracket by what? What am I multiplying it by?
by X.
But not by itself. Because look here, if I have x squared, that's the same thing as x multiplied by itself 2 times. Okay, so if I have this whole bracket squared, that means I'm taking the bracket and I'm multiplying it by itself. Okay, so all I need to do is do this, xy minus p squared q. And what am I multiplying it by, Timothy?
By itself.
By itself, good. So I'm going to multiply it by xy minus p squared q. And then we can just do the same thing we were doing with all these others. I'm going to need some space here. Okay, then we can just do top, top, bottom, bottom. And that's what we'll do again. Okay, do you see how we do that?
Yes, man.
Okay. It's not that scary, I promise. Okay, now we've just got to know. If I've got xy times xy, what am I going to get?
XY.
You guys can help us. I'm going to get x squared, and what else is going to be squared?
Y.
Y, good. So I'm going to have x squared and y squared. Let me put that back. Yeah, because I've got here x times x, which will give me x squared, and then I've got y times y, and that will give me y squared. That's the first top. Now let's look at this other top here. Top and top. Now I've got x and y multiplied by negative p squared and q. Do I have any terms that look the same? Do I have any variables that look the same? Do x, y, p, and q, do they look the same at all? Do any of them look the same?
Yes.
Which two look the same?
You said
Between x and y and p and q, which of them are the same? None of them. Okay, look, none of them. Because this one, if we think about it, we're multiplying this xy with negative p squared q. X is on its own, y is on its own, negative p squared is on its own, and q is on its own, right? None of them look the same. Yes?
Yes, I see.
Good. So all we're going to do is we're just going to put them together. We're just going to put them right next to each other. So I'm going to go negative. I'm going to start with the p squared because in the alphabet, it comes first and my OCD won't let me put it the other way around. I'm going to go p squared q, and then because the x and the y's don't look the same, I'm just going to go xy. I'm going to add xy. Okay, so now we're done with the second one. Now we have to multiply down here. I have to multiply negative p squared q and xy. Can you tell me what that's going to give me, Timothy?
Negative.
Look at them. Do any of them look the same?
Say it negative what?
Negative p squared q. So we're taking this one here, negative p squared q, and we're multiplying it with xy.
They don't look the same.
They don't look the same at all. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to write them next to each other. So I'm going to go negative p squared q xy. That's it. Okay, because they don't look the same at all. So I'm going to leave them exactly the way it is. So that was the third one. So now I'm going to go negative p squared q multiplied by negative p squared q. Now, these do look the same, right? Because there's a p squared here, and there's a p squared there. And there's a q here, and there's a q there. Yes, you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to get negative times negative. What's that going to give me?
Positive.
Positive, good. So I'm going to have positive, and then I've got p squared multiplied by p squared. What do I do with the exponents when the base looks the same? I'm going to have p, and what do I do with the exponents?
You add them. Okay.
We add them, good. So I'm going to have p, 2 plus 2 is going to give me p to the power of 4. And then q here, there's one q and one q. So q times q will give me q what? Q what? Q to the power of 2,
4.
because it's squared. It's not going to be 4. Remember, this q has a power of 1, and this one has a power of 1. So when we put them together, they give us q squared.
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have to practice these, Timothy, because these are actually grade 9 questions, and you should be able to do this by grade 9. So you're going to have to practice this one a little bit. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to simplify this quickly because these two are like terms. I've got a like term here and a like term there. Okay. So I'm going to go x squared, y squared, minus, I've got negative 1 minus 1, that's going to give me minus 2 p squared q xy. And then this one is just going to add on to the end, plus p to the power 4 q squared. Okay, we're going to have to practice this. Okay, Timothy, it's very important that we know how to do this. All right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Love you for trying. Keep trying. Okay, we're going to keep going with that. These were the questions that I gave you guys on Thursday last week to do. If you did not get a chance to do them or write them down, can I ask you guys to take a screenshot now, because we're going to move on to factorization, which is a completely different thing to what we're doing. Okay. So if you didn't do them, please make sure you take a screenshot now or write them down. Again, remember, all of these are the same as the ones we've just done. Okay. Hearing somebody. Okay. All right, and remember, we're just going to use the top, bottom, bottom. Same thing, top, bottom, bottom. Over here, now that we've got the squared, this means that this x minus 4 is being multiplied by itself. That's what that means. And that's why I had you guys do that question up there. So this is going to look like negative 2 multiplied by x minus 4 X minus 4 needs to be multiplied by itself. Okay, now look at this one. This one also has a squared here. This one also has a squared here. So you need to make sure that you're following the rules exactly. Okay, this is a cheat. I can't give you guys the answer. I need to remove it. You guys must go try it yourselves. Okay, that's okay. Zoom user, remember to give us your name. Oh, it's Molin. Hi, Molin. Okay. Funzo, what's up, my sweetie? I see your hand is up. Oh, it's Funzo's hand is down now. Okay, no worries. Okay, guys, I hope you've taken your screenshots. We're going to be talking about factorization today. And I want you guys to note that factorization is the opposite of simplification. Okay, we're doing the exact opposite thing. So if you ever have to check your answer, if I have to do a check, what you need to do to check to make sure your answer is correct is simplify. Okay, we need to simplify. That's how we're going to go about this. Now, I normally give my kids these 5 things to always look out for. I'm going to tell you guys now because maths teachers think they're clever and that they're catching you guys out. No, they're not. No, they're not. We are required to check these things, especially in that algebra section right at the beginning. We have to test this part of, like in any exam that you guys write, in the first test that you guys are going to write on algebra, they're going to test for these 5 things. Okay, they're going to test for if you can take out the highest common factor. That's what HCF stands for. HCF stands for highest common factor. Does anybody know what DOTS stands for? Have you guys ever seen the word DOTS before? Who can tell me? Does anybody come across it? You should have in grade 9. I'm hoping some of you have seen it. That's it, Rita. That's it. It stands for the difference of 2 squares. Good. Yeah, I'm going to run out of space because my handwriting. See, I told you, teacher, it's because of this handwriting of mine. You see, difference of 2 squares. Okay. All right. So whenever we see any of these questions, we start by looking for a highest common factor. And then if we have to look for dots, we always know that there's going to be something squared minus something squared. And I cannot emphasize, guys, how this is a difference of 2 squares. So there must be a minus in between these 2 squared numbers. So if this thing in the middle over here was a plus, it's no longer dots because it's not a difference. It must be a minus in between them. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It can't be an addition. It must be a minus sign in the middle. So something over here squared minus something over here squared. That's why we call it a difference of 2 squares. Okay. I hope you guys are going to remember that. Make sure that you're remembering that particular thing. Okay. When we look at a trinomial, we're always going to get something squared plus or minus something x plus or minus some number. So trinomial, 3 numbers. When we look for a trinomial, there'll be three terms, not numbers. Let's say 3 terms. Yeah. Trinomial has 3 terms, and the first term is always squared. First term is squared, and the one in the middle has an x or a b or an a or something along those lines. Okay. When we look at grouping, if you come across 4 or more terms, as soon as you look at like an expression and it has 4 or more terms, you'll most likely have to group them. So you'll take maybe the first 2 and group them together, and then the second 2 and group them together, or maybe you might have to do a little bit of rearranging in order to do that. Okay, and then cubes are easy. If one of them is cubed over here, and then this can be a plus or a minus, another perfect cube number over here. Okay, so number 1, we always need to make sure that there's a highest common factor. I actually want to highlight this one. I want to highlight highest common factor because even if I'm doing dots, I can still probably, there's a chance that I might need to take out a common factor first. Even if I'm doing a trinomial, I might still have to take out a common factor first. Even if I'm grouping, maybe they all have a 2 in front of them, and I have to take the 2 out first. Even with cubes, I may have to take out a highest common factor first. So I'm going to ask you guys, tell me in the chat, what is the first thing we look for when we factorize? And I'm even going to put a star there so I can help you guys cheat. What is the first thing you need to look for before you can factorize? Rita's on the ball today. That's it, Tristan. We must always look for a highest common factor. That's it. Always make sure, because I can guarantee you somewhere somebody's going to try and trick you. Okay, I'm going to give everyone about 6 minutes. Try to work at your own pace if you can. Okay, I want you guys to try numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to see if I can get the rules in here as well so that we don't have that kind of problem. There we go. Okay, and I've highlighted question 3 and question 5 in red. We're going to be looking at it because this is brand new work, what we're going to be doing with question 3. Okay, you guys now have, I'm stealing a minute from you. You now have 5 minutes. Try questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the instruction is factorize, and I cannot emphasize fully, factorize fully. Don't leave anything, don't leave any stone unturned. Okay, you guys have 5 minutes. I just want to quickly close my door. I'll be with you guys. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, I'm right here. Hi, Pelele. How can we help, my sweetie? You want to unmute for me and ask a question? I'm going to need you to unmute for me, Pelele. Unless you want to answer a question, and that's why, like, you're so enthusiastic. You're waiting for me to ask if anyone can answer the first one, which Ndumiso has already done for me in my private messages. I see you. You've got 1 minute left, guys. I'm hearing a voice. I'm hearing a ma'am. Oh, Gabby was unmuted. All right, your minute is almost up, guys. Okay, that's time. All right. We're going to start answering these questions. I just want to check with you guys. Tell me in the chat quickly. How hard was it for you guys to answer these questions? Like, tell me, easy, hard, or medium? Let me know in the chat. Easy, hard, or medium? Retta says easy. Emilio says mid. I know number 5 is a bit tricky and I left it on the stage. We're going to talk about it. Molen, is that you who's saying hard? Okay. Okay, Latita says hard. Dumiso says mid. One says mid. Kieran also says mid. Okay, I'm getting quite a lot of mid and a few hards. And I've had one easy. So we've got one genius sitting in this class right now. Okay. All right. Mthengi says just fine, and that's okay, guys. Okay, we're going to work through them, and I'm going to show you guys how to use the information on the right-hand side to make sure that you're getting the right answer out of this. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys again, what is the first thing we do when we look at a question? Now, we're going to look at number 1. Okay, Intanta's having a bit of a problem. That's it. Rita remembers because I wrote it on the screen. That's it. Find the HCF. Okay, good. I just want to answer Intanta quickly. Yeah, okay, there we go. Good. We need to look for the HCF. Now, the HCF is always going to be the highest common factor between my numbers first. So the highest common factor, tell me in the chat, guys, what is the highest common factor between 15 and 9? That's it. That's it. Someone named AM is giving me the correct answer. Okay, it's 3. And Rich has just given us the whole answer. That's it. Yeah. We're going to take 3 out as the highest common factor between 15 and 9. So I'm going to have 3 out. Don't forget my equal sign. And then I'm going to have to look for the highest common factor between x cubed and x to the power 5. Now, the easiest thing to do when we look at exponents that have the same base, do you see how there's an x here and an x here? If they have the same base, look for the one with the smallest exponent, and that is your highest common factor. Okay, so I'm going to take out the one with the smallest exponent, which is x cubed. Okay, now I'm going to go x cubed divided by x cubed will give me nothing. It'll all be done. But then I still have to go 15 divided by 3, which will give me 5. That's what's left over here. Plus, and then x to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 3 is going to leave me with x squared. and then 9 divided by 3 will leave me with 3. Okay. Is there anything else I can do from this point on? Can I take out, is it dots? Is it a trinomial? Is it grouping? Do any of the other 4 things apply? Yes or no, guys? Can I take anything else out? Rita says no. What do the rest of you guys think? Can I take anything else out? Tristan also says no. There's really nothing else I can do. So I know 100% that I'm done. Okay. Now, there is a very high chance that you're going to get one of these types of questions in your exam or in a test. Okay. You're going to get a question like this. Let's look at number 2. What do we notice about number 2? What is number 2? Okay, Pila says, ma'am, is it correct if you took out 3x squared? Okay, if I took out 3x squared, Pila, what's going to happen here is I'm going to take out a squared, and then x cubed divided by x squared is going to leave me with an x. And then what I'm going to find here is that there's still an x common on the inside. Okay, there's still an x that's common on the inside. So I still have to take that x out again. So I'm still going to have another x on the outside. Okay, so I can't take out x squared. I need to take out the variable with the lowest exponent, which in this case would be 3. Okay, so we always look for the one with the smallest exponent. But remember, guys, the bases need to look the same. So if this was x and this was y, then I can't take it out as a common factor. I can't take x cubed out as a common factor. They don't have the same. Okay, so this is what I normally do, guys. As soon as I see dots, I do this. I open 2 brackets. I open 2 brackets. And I know that there's a 1 in front of my x squared. And then I can square both sides. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go, what's the square root of that? And what's the square root of that? The square root of x squared is x and x. And the square root of 9, guys, what's the square root of 9? That's it. It's 3. So I'm going to have 3, 3. And then the next thing I do is I just make sure that the signs are opposite. Plus, minus. That's it. Okay. So when we get to dots, square the first number, square the last number, and then just put plus and minus in the middle. Okay, what about number 3? What are we looking at number 3? Look at your list. What are we looking at? And Rita's just killing this. She's just like, all the answers. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. That's it, Molen. That's it, Togo. We're looking for, it's dots again. So what are we going to do? We're going to square root this and we're going to square root that. And then we just open 2 brackets, open 2 brackets. And then I'm going to go, the square root of 2x squared is 2. I mean, of 4x squared is 2x. I just gave you guys the answer. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. So I write 2x and 2x. And then the square root of 25 is 5 and 5. And then I just put a plus there and I put a minus there. Okay, let's look at this, guys. Out of 3, how many of you guys have gotten 3 out of 3? Give me a thumbs up if you've gotten 3 out of 3. Give me a thumbs down if you haven't. Just from numbers 1, 2, and 3. Tristan's gotten 3. Excellent. Excellent, guys. All right. For those of you who haven't, I hope you guys have noticed where your mistake has been. I hope we're seeing it. Palisa, have you noticed where we didn't quite get it correct? Okay, Molin also didn't get it. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, now remember, guys, look at all these that we've worked with. Okay, this one is a special case, but you'll notice that every time it's dots, I only have 2 terms. 2 terms. 1, 2, and the first one is always squared, and I can square root everything. And level, yes, as long as there's a plus or a minus. There must be, I can do that, minus plus, it's fine. As long as one of them is a plus and the other one is a minus, I can put them in whatever order I feel like, it doesn't matter. Okay, the order doesn't matter. It's just the plus and the minus needs to be there. Okay, let's look at number 4. What do we notice about number 4, guys? What kind of factorization are we using for number 4? It's a trinomial. Good, it's a trinomial. So also when I see a trinomial, the first thing I'm going to do is open 2 brackets. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, and then I'm going to look at my first factor over here, x squared. If there's no number in front of x squared, I can just do that. I'm going to start by doing that. X makes my life so much easier. Thank you. Yes, so true, teacher. You guys are winning at life. Excellent. Okay. And then I'm going to look at this over here. I'm going to look at this negative and this positive. Now, I want you guys to note something, and I just want to check with you guys. Give me a yes or a no. I have a way of remembering how to factorize trinomials. Would you guys like me to teach you that trick that I know, or would you like to leave it up to your teachers and I can just show you the way that everyone normally does it? Okay. Emilio says is good. Tristan's like, yes, ma'am, please teach us. It's very, very easy. Okay, but we need to remember the rules. Okay, all right. I'm going to just go over to the side over here. Okay, so now when we are factorizing a trinomial, guys, and this is specifically for a trinomial, there are only 3 types of things that they can possibly do with a trinomial. Okay, type 1 is if I have x squared plus 5x plus 6. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open 2 brackets. Always, always, always. If I see dots or I see trinomials and they ask me to factorize, you always open 2 brackets and you put an x here and an x here. Now, what's going to happen next is I'm going to take this sign in the middle. I'm going to go, I have a plus here and a plus here. Which 2 signs are going to give me a plus? A plus and a plus will give me a plus. So I know that inside I need to put a plus and a plus. And then all I have to do is figure out which factors of 6 are going to give me 5. Can you guys give me the 2 factors of 6 that will give me 5 when added to each other? That's it, Molin. 2 and 3. So I can just go 2, 3. Okay, that's the first type, 2 and 3. The second type is if they go x squared minus 5x plus 6. It's a trinomial. First thing I'm going to do, open 2 brackets. Open 2 brackets. There's no number in front of x squared, so I'm going to go x. Now, let's look at the signs, guys. I've got a negative and a positive. Which 2 signs are going to give me a positive? I've got a negative here, and I need this negative to give me a positive. I'm going to get 2 negatives. So I need negative and negative. That's it. And then I just need to think of the factors of 6 that are going to give me 5. And again, Emilio, you've got it. It's 3 and 2. Okay. Now the third one is easy because all I do is I go x squared, let's go plus 7x minus, let me see. Okay, let's say plus 6x minus 7. Let's do it the other way around. Let's see if it will work. I need to add them correctly in my head to make sure I don't give you guys a false answer. No. If I have a 6 here at the end, let me do this. If I have a 6 here at the end. All right, I want a 2x here. So the first thing I'm going to do, again, I'm going to go, put an x put an X. Now I've got a plus here, but I need a minus over here. Which two signs put together are going to give me a minus? I'm going to need, which two signs put together are going to give me a minus? If I've got a plus here in the middle, I need two signs that are going to give me a minus. That's it. So I'm going to put a plus and a minus because I need a positive and a negative to get a negative out. Now I just need to think of the factors of 6 that are going to give me 2. But this time I'm not adding, I'm subtracting. Okay, so I'm going to have, and I completely chose the wrong number. I should leave this here. Okay. I'm going to get positive 3 minus 2. Positive 3 minus 2 will give me positive X. Okay, so the only thing that we can look at that will be different, look here, as soon as, and need to make sure I don't forget all of this, write it properly. As soon as there's a plus and a plus, both my signs will be negative and negative. As soon as this thing here in the middle is a minus, but I have a plus at the end, I have a minus and a minus. But as soon as this last thing over here is a minus, I need different signs. These two need to be different. Okay. And that's the easiest way for you to remember it. The numbers will shift here and there, but the signs will always stay the same. They'll always stay where they are. Okay. You can write this down. You can take a screenshot of this if you need to. If you feel like the other way of doing it is a little bit easier for you, I have had kids in my class who are like, no, ma'am, this is complicated. That's perfectly fine. You can do that. But if you like this method and you think it's going to help, then you can use that one. Okay, now if we look at the example that we've got over here, I've got a minus over here and I need a plus. What are my two signs going to be in the middle? Who can tell me? Any ideas? That's it. They're both going to be negative. That's it. I'm going to get a negative and a negative. Okay. And then I just need to look for the factors of 42. Then when added together, they're going to give me 13. What are my two factors? Think of your factors of 42. I know it's not going to be 2 times 21. That's for sure. That's it. X minus 7, X minus 6. Good. Negative 6, negative 7. It doesn't matter which one comes first. I'm just going to put a 6 here and a 7 there. Okay. Can I get a thumbs up? Are we okay with how to do these questions? Are we okay with this? Emilio says yes. Good. All right. I'm getting quite a few thumbs up. If you're still a little confused, guys, remember, the only way we get better at algebra is by practicing. I promise you, we need to practice. Okay. And remember all of this. This is quite important. They always ask these. These 5 things will always be asked. Okay. I want us to look at Siam was like number 4, yes, but the rest, no. Oh, the others are actually easier than number 4. All right. Let's look at, we're going to skip number 5 quickly. I want us to look at number 6 and number 7. Have we noticed what number 6 is? What kind of technique are we using for number 6? I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to make sure we can see it. What are we going to be using here? That's it. Yes, it's grouping. In fact, I was so nice. I grouped it for you already. I did it for you already. Okay, I've already done it for you. So the only problem here is that this is 3x minus 2, and this is 2 minus 3x. Okay, have you guys ever heard of the switch and change? The switch and change. Okay. The switch and change is when the two numbers are sitting in the wrong place. Okay, Unati says no, but Unati, have a look here. Funzo's heard of it. Look here, Unati. I have the exact same things that I want. I've got a 3x here, I've got a 3x here, I've got a 2 here, I've got a 2 here. The only problem is that one of them is sitting like the other one is sitting in the wrong place. And that's not going to help me because this is actually negative 3x and this is positive 3x. And this is positive 2 and this is negative 2. And those two things do not look the same. They are not the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap them around. I'm going to take this over there. I'm going to take that over there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sign of this thing over here. And instead of having a negative y, I'm going to have a positive y. And that's it. That's the switch and change. Because I can tell that these two things are exactly the same, but it's so frustrating because the one is sitting over here and the other one's sitting over there. I want them to swap. So I'm just going to change them. I'm going to take the number and the number with the variable. I'm going to switch them around, and then I'm going to change the sign of the variable in front of them. Does that make sense, Unati? I hope it does. Okay. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have x multiplied by 3x minus 2 plus y multiplied by, and now that I've changed the sign on the outside, I can switch them around. 3x minus 2. That's what I can do. And then what I can do here is I can take out my common factor. I know it doesn't look like a highest common factor, but there is a highest common factor. Who knows what the highest common factor is here? What is the common factor? Yes, Kefaunola.
It's 6, man.
Well, it can't be 6. Have a look. Remember, we said that to get a highest common factor, we have to see something that's the same, right? Now, x doesn't look like y, so that's not it, right? Do you see two things on each side that look the same? What is it?
X.
Okay, good. Okay, there's an x here and an x there and an x there. That doesn't help us because then y stays by itself. That's not going to help us. But Kieran's got the right idea. Look at what Kieran is saying in the chat. And K also has the right idea. What is the same? What are we looking at that's the same? 3x minus 2 and 3x minus 2. The whole thing is our common factor. It's our highest common factor. So because both of the brackets look exactly the same and they both belong to x and y, they are our highest common factor. They're our common factor. So we're going to take it out. 3x minus 2. And then what do I have left? What I have left is x and y. X plus y. That's what I've got left. Okay. I just need to make sure that we're all on the same page because I feel like a lot of us are still a little bit confused. Okay. And everything that I'm doing here, we should be very familiar with because it still is kind of grade 9 work. I haven't actually started on the grade 10 work yet. Okay, all right. If you're confused about any of these, please don't hesitate to ask a question. I want us to get to this last one because we are running out of time. Okay, now this one is easy to spot. Number 7. What are we looking at in number 7, guys? Have a look at number 7. What kind of factorizing are we going to be doing here? Cubes. Good. We're going to do cubes. Good. It's a cube. So when I see a cube, again, I open 2 brackets. It's just that the last one is going to be a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, with a cube, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cube this whole thing. And I'm going to cube this whole thing. I'm going to cube them both, right? Then I know that in the middle, this sign stays the same. So I'm still going to have a minus here. Now, what is the cube root of 8x cubed, guys? If I cube 8x cubed, what am I going to get? Good. Tristan says 2. You're forgetting something very important. What else is being cubed? That's it, Rita. 2x. And then the cube root of 27 is? The cube root of 27, I had one of my boys say to me, 7, ma'am. And I was like, no, 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 no. That's not it. It's 3. Good. It's 3. I think he was speaking a bit too fast in class today, and he completely lost it. It's 3. Good. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do next, in order to populate this section over here, this is what I'm going to do. For every cube, guys, for every cube, there needs to be a minus and a plus and a plus. And because this one is a difference of cubes, it needs to be minus, plus, plus. If this was a sum of 2 cubes, I'd need to have plus, minus, plus. So that's what I do. Okay, so because there's a minus already over here, I'm going to go on this side and I'm going to put a plus here, and I'm going to put a plus there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2x and I'm going to square it, and that number is going to go over here. So 2x squared is 4, or 2x all squared is 4x squared, and then 3 squared is 9, and that goes in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2x and multiply it by 3. 2x plus 3 times 3 will give me 6x. And that goes in the middle. Klingi says, is it not plus 27, ma'am? It is. It's actually minus. I've just added the plus there. Okay. It's not plus. It was a minus, in fact. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so if I did this, and I am running out of time, I have got to get out of here. Okay, I've got, if I had 8x cubed plus 27, what I would do is I would open 2 brackets. The other one is bigger than the other. And in the middle of this bracket, I would put a plus. Over here, I would put a minus. And over here, I would put a plus. And then I would do the same thing. Cube this one and cube that number. And if I cube 8x cubed, it's going to give me 2x. If I cube 27, I'm going to get 3. And then I just do the same thing again. 2x all squared is 4x squared. I'm going to explain again now, Tebo. 3 squared is 9. And then 2 times 3, 2x times 3 will give me 6x. So Tebo, where we get that negative 6x is we're going to take these 2 numbers. Yeah. We're going to take this number, and we're going to multiply them together. And that's where this middle term comes from. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I'm deleting the wrong thing. Excellent. Okay, we're just going to take the 2 things, the 2 numbers, multiply them together.